scores! Sends the one-timer, scores!
Great save made by Gustafsson.
Right here, what an awesome pass through the slot, onto the stick of Batherson.
Kachuk in tight up, let's get going, scores! Brady Kachuk wins it in overtime for Ottawa.
Welcome back to SENS Talk. Long time no see. Just a few hours ago, I uploaded a video breaking down Ottawa and Vancouver's trade, which brought Travis Hamonic to the nation's capital. However, I have some breaking news for you. Yet another trade has just dropped, and it's fan favorite Nick Paul going to the Tampa Bay Lightning for a 4th-round selection in 2024, and right winger Mathieu Joseph. In the trade, Ottawa is retaining 44.5% of Nick Paul's remaining salary on the season. Now, before we discuss what Nick Paul brings to the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, I want to just discuss what Mathieu Joseph brings to the Ottawa Senators. Now, Joseph is a 25-year-old right winger, and this season in 58 games played with Tampa Bay, he has 8 goals and 10 assists for 18 total points, with a +4 rating as well. Joseph is an RFA at the end of the season, however, so that's the main difference with him and Nick Paul. Nick Paul could have left for nothing and tested free agency. Joseph, as an RFA, doesn't really have that many options unless a team sends him an offer sheet, which, let's be honest, never happens. So what this means for Ottawa is it gives them more flexibility, or more control anyways, on this player, which allows them to decide, all right, do we just want to qualify him, sign him for one more year by qualifying him and to see what he has, or do we want to extend him for 2 to 3 years for a much cheaper deal than Nick Paul was demanding? I mean, listen, I'm happy Ottawa got a National Hockey League player back for Nick Paul, but at the same time, you know, they both bring similar elements to the Senators lineup. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a solid trade in terms of getting something back. And we're going to discuss the return later in the video. But overall, I mean, Mathieu Joseph, I've seen some highlights. He has some good speed. You can see on the screen here, his first NHL goal was actually against the Ottawa Senators, which is pretty ironic. Even though, of course, half the league has scored their first NHL goal against Ottawa, which is pretty funny, right? But, you know, in reality, listen, this is a kid that on a stacked team like Tampa Bay didn't really get a lot of opportunities. Playing 4th-line minutes here in Ottawa, listen, there's even an opportunity for him to get on that second line. There's so many holes on this Sanders team in the last 20 games. I mean, you got Batherson out, you got all these other injuries, so there's a good opportunity here for Joseph to really play in a top 6 role or in a top 9 role and show to the Sanders he has a lot more offense to give. With Nick Paul, who had 18 points as well this season in 59 games, so exactly the same sort of stat line. You know, Nick Paul is more of a defensive player. We already know what he is offensively. But with Joseph, hey, he's 25. He's not, you know, a rookie, but he's also not a veteran. He's still rounding into shape and form in the National Hockey League. He has some development to go, but he's still established enough that he's going to be a for sure NHLer next year. So it's a decent trade in that aspect. And then once again, he's still young, and there's still room for him to grow. He's going to get a lot of opportunity here in the nation's capital to continue to grow. Now, if you're a Tampa fan watching this, here's what you're getting in Nick Paul. You're getting a great defensive center/winger who can chip in occasionally offensively. And by the way, Nick Paul has a cannon of a shot, so look out for that. He's also a great penalty kill specialist. So, I mean, Tampa Bay, they don't really struggle in the penalty kill, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they're pretty strong in the special teams. Nick Paul is only going to make that stronger. Now, he's also the type of depth player that can truly help you win a Stanley Cup. They're going for the three-peat. Nick Paul is one of those players in the playoffs who can really make the difference. Now, 18 points in 59 games played this year, 11 goals, does not scream, wow, elite player, but once again, keep in mind, with a player like Nick Paul, he's a player that is defensive first. A defensive first center/winger is always good to have because, I mean, they're smart with the puck, and they're not going to be reckless out there. And by the way, Nick Paul truly can do it all. If you want him to be in the top 6, you could put him there. You know, he could score some goals. Like I said, he has a cannon of a shot. So he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You can really put him throughout the lineup. He's suited best for the bottom 6 in a defensive role. But once again, he has a good shot. And if you need him to play in the top 6 for a game or two, he's your man. A really good Swiss Army knife. And for a team like Tampa Bay, who frankly has a lot of great players but has cap issues, I mean, Nick Paul is that player that you would die to have, and they have him now, because you can really put him throughout the lineup for a cheap price. Now for Ottawa, I kind of already went into it with Mathieu Joseph, but there's a couple things here. Firstly, he's friends with Thomas Chabot. He played in the QMJHL with the Senators' top defenseman, so there's a bit of a connection there, which is always great. But from what I've seen online, on Twitter, from the scouting reports I've been reading on like HockeyDB or whatever, he seems to be like a speedy and gritty defensive winger. He's essentially an exact replica of Paul, with different elements to their defensive game. So Paul has a really strong stick, meanwhile Joseph has really good feet, or skating, whatever you want to call it. So he has good defensive abilities, but he also has some offense abilities too, some good potential. And I'm really excited to see how Joseph can grow here in the nation's capital in the next couple of years with an extended look offensively. Listen, with speed like that, we've seen it happen with Alex Formenton. A lot of people, especially at the beginning of the season, were calling for Formenton to be traded because he wasn't able to put the puck in the net. But like I said many times at the beginning of the season, that's stupid, because speed will always create offensive chances. Joseph has great speed, and those offensive chances should come. So the verdict for this trade, it's not a good, it's not a bad, it's a decent trade for the Ottawa Senators. They got a good NHLer back with some potential moving forward. He seems to be a good fit for Ottawa's bottom six for years to come, which is great. But it would have been nicer if we made this an addition to the Ottawa Senators rather than just a piece brought in by removing another piece. If we could have kept Nick Paul and Joseph for that third or fourth line, that would have been really cool. But hey, you know what? If we're losing Nick Paul, it's great to see that we're at least getting another similar player like Paul back in the lineup for a cheaper price and with some potential to contribute a little more offensively as well. So, at the end of the day, it's kind of a wash here. Ottawa gets a player that's a little younger with some more potential, while Tampa Bay gets a player that's a hell of a defensive specialist and who can truly make the big difference when it comes playoff time. Also, you can see it on the screen here. When he won the Cup with Tampa Bay last year, he ate Poutine out of the Stanley Cup. You know what? He's a Canadian. He loves Poutine, and we are right on the border with Quebec. So, this might be the perfect location for Mathieu Joseph. So besides that, thank you all for watching. Welcome to Ottawa, Mathieu. I'm really, really excited to see you play. And Nick Paul, thank you for everything you've done here in the nation's capital for 8 years. On the ice and off the ice. You were a great person, and we're rooting for you in Tampa Bay. I do hope you win the Stanley Cup this year with Tampa. Good luck, and we'll miss you, Paulie. Welcome to Ottawa, Mathieu Joseph. If there's any more trades, you'll see it here first on youtube.com/SensTalk. I'll see you soon, if not after tomorrow's deadline. Take care, guys, and speak soon.